Welcome everybody to the SHIRO Show. Happy birthday, Pat.
Thanks.
That
Man.
fell flat. That fell flat because we were. Anyway,
it's cool.
I was literally eating my lunch. I was like cramming my lunch like right before this.
Happy birthday, Patrick! Here's some editing work for you to do when this goes up.
Yes, here's some editing work for you to do.
Here's some editing work for you when this goes live.
But for all of those who are watching live, I'm sure that that was amusing. So, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. I took the day off today just to do some chores, get ready for some things. Been busy. Been a busy week. Lots of articles that came out this week. Lots of news.
It was all Pat and Nick. That Nick did an article too. But man, you were busy this week.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Like, I remember we always say this in the last couple of weeks. We don't expect the news to be as crazy again. We're like, oh, we're not sure if we get a lot of news, but we somehow every time have like 25 news articles. Like every time, every week.
Yeah, I think it was like 5 or 6 this week, but it feels like 25.
Yeah, but I'm actually very happy. I actually really enjoyed doing them.
Yeah.
Besides the mess up I did, but we'll talk about that later.
No worries, man. No worries at all. I mean, hey, the good thing is that we're able to correct it and talk about it here, so we're at least able to get that straight. And I did the same thing when I wrote up that Shenmue article. I mistakenly thought that it was only included in the Xbox version, and a bunch of people on Twitter corrected me. They were like, well, we're from PAL territories. We played the PAL version and we got that same footage in the Dreamcast version. So I was like, I stand corrected, and I just went back and edited the article. So
our good pals over in the PAL land.
Exactly, our pals in PAL territory.
Interesting, yeah.
But no, we've had a ton of news, and yeah, we'll get right into it, and I'll let you basically take the reins here since you basically wrote up most of everything here. Let me go ahead and bring up our little browser source here.
Getting that browser source, oh yeah.
That's right. We released a new podcast episode recently. A lot of you guys have we got a lot of compliments on it. I was really happy to see that a lot of folks were enjoying the Project COE interview with Jared.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun, except when I threatened to break into his storage unit. That was kind of a weird part on my end. So
yeah, well, I didn't take you seriously.
Yeah,
but
totally. Let me just put all those tools away. No,
I would expect nothing less from you, Pat. I mean, this is the guy who said that if he could change anything about Sega's past, it would just be to go back and buy 12 copies of Magic Knight Rayearth. So
I think I'll do 13 this time.
Yeah, no surprises
13.
here. Oh, 13.
You never know.
That's an unlucky number, though.
It's cool. It's cool. It's good luck in my book.
Just don't get 4, because then it's a Japanese game. Japanese bad luck number. Anyway, we had a lot of fun talking with Jared, learning about his extensive collection, some of the stuff that he has that's just crazy, from his history of owning a game shop and like how that got him into writing for blogs and then doing videos and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun, and shouts to Jared for joining us and being so generous with his time. Anything else you want to say about that?
I just had a lot of fun with it. I enjoyed talking about the interview. We did an interview for the interview with
That's right.
About Tom Kalinske and talking about that and getting that all set up. And he was a cool guy, and it was really informative. I had no idea some of the crazy stuff he had, especially that sandcastle thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whatever that sand thing was. I'd love to see pictures of that eventually, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll have him on again. I definitely would like to talk to him again. Definitely. And I know he's super busy, and so we can't thank him enough, because it was actually the connection with Jared. Uplink had a connection with Jared, and then he kind of snagged us and brought us into the fold with the Tom Kalinske thing. So it's like, if it wasn't for him, that wouldn't have happened for us, and that was a huge deal. We're so thankful, and I know that like he's so busy these days that he was grateful to have the extra help, extra hands on board to be able to get all those questions together and stuff. So it was a lot of fun, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Yeah, and then moving on, I'm super excited.
Last week we were streaming. We were like mid-stream, and I don't know if it was Night of Dragon or maybe it was Trekkies. Somebody came into the stream and they're like, oh, no, it was Emerald Nova who was saying that CED or said he just dropped the 21 pin So this happened like, or at least this was like news while we were streaming last week, so we didn't have really an opportunity to cover it. But go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, so I thought it was really cool. I think we talked about the Fenrir in the past, the 20-pin version, but unfortunately I don't think any of us have tried it yet. I think we all went mode or satiator, which is kind of a blunder on our parts, but yeah, it's really cool. I know a lot of people. For those that don't know, Fenrir is an ODE or optical drive emulator that allows you to replace the disk drive from the Saturn with a device that'll let you put in SD cards instead of like discs.
Right.
So that way, all you have to do is just put a bunch of media on the discs and just put in the machine, and it's good to go. You know, you're up and running, out to the races. And the Fenrir, unfortunately, when it first started out, was a fairly 20-pin. So I guess a lot from people, the nomenclature, the Model 1, and like the ones that I think is VA0 or something or less. And essentially it only allowed for those systems, but with the 21-pin model, lets you put it inside of the rest of the system. So basically, the 21-pin, the Model 2 is, as it's known, the the round button for what a lot of people know it as. So I mean, it's really cool. It's really awesome that we have all these options nowadays, and it's just crazy, and it's very cheap too. I think it's like
Here's
only
the crazy part right here. Yeah, 139.
What? Yeah.
Castlevania games. So both models will retail for 139. That's the biggest difference right there. And I would say that this is probably the most similar to like a Rhea or Phoebe, except for that it uses bin Q, right?
Yeah, it's and that way it's a little bit better than that in that case, and it's compatible with, I think, over thousands of games and stuff, and it's still getting support and it's still upgraded. There's a lot of really cool features that it has with it. So just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's a lesser model. It's just as good as the other ones.
Yeah, it's
maybe
just
even better for some of your uses. But yeah, it's I was gonna put the prices, but I kind of didn't want to overshadow the device itself.
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out if you have the money for it. And I think it's going to be. I think I heard one person from the UK and Europe saying it's going to be great because it's going to be a lot more affordable to buy than getting a satiator or a mode. So hopefully this will make it cheaper for those guys to be able to get these things, and everyone can enjoy Saturn.
Well, here's the question I'm wondering: you mentioned getting one. Are you going to get one?
I had somebody reach out to me and say that they'd be down for me to test their 20-pin.
Oh, okay.
I think I might test it. The thing is, I only have 2 Saturns, and I want to keep the disk drive in one. That's actually getting modded right now. It's getting the FRAM mod, and it's getting recapped. So once that's done, that'll be my capture device, and the other one's going back in the kiosk with the Phoebe, or sorry, the Rhea. So I'd have to get another Saturn to test it out, but I'd be down to test it out. I just don't really have a big affinity for ripping out my disk drive in the other one right now, or replacing the Rhea. But we'll see. I'll see if I can find a cheap oval button Saturn. Maybe get like something on eBay and just throw it in there.
Sure. Well, for those who are considering an ODE and you haven't had one yet, for people who are just getting into the Saturn and are considering dropping like $40 on a cart, just and then a spindle of CDRs to try to like burn a bunch of games, this is actually a really appealing option. Not only is it an easy install, if you don't mind taking out your CD drive, especially if it's busted, right? You got an easy install, you got fairly cheap cost, you got high compatibility, and it's growing all the time. I mean, I think he's ironed out most of the things here and there, but it's basically very comparable to like a Ray or a Phoebe, except it's even easier and cheaper and readily available as well. You can get it on Castlevania games. So it's like it's got so many things going for it, really. And you mentioned the mode being a blunder. For me, that was a gift, and I have to say that speaks to the fact that the mode is probably one of the most high profile devices, and it's like well marketed, and that even my wife would end up finding it and getting it for me because she's not into gaming or Saturn stuff at all. So it speaks to the fact that the mode is well marketed, but I will say that this is a brilliant option for most people who are considering an ODE, and probably the only one you'll ever need.
Yeah, and it's really great because we went from having to fight over getting a Raider Phoebe and like throwing stuff against the wall because we missed the pre-order by a millisecond.
Yeah.
To just get it whenever, dude, and just chill back, and we can just pick it up when it's readily available and not have to worry about trying to hunt it down.
I mean, same thing goes for the OSSC. I remember when that thing was just like a pre-order, and it was like you had to get on this limited list, and then it was like he could only supply so many, and now it's like not only is it easier to get an OSSC, but there's like retro tinks and there's all these other devices out there that kind of do the same thing or arguably do it better, depending on money wise and what signal you're using. But I mean, these things have become more available. So 2018 was an awesome time to be a Saturn fan, but 2021 is even better, I guess, because these things are just getting more readily.
Year of the Saturn, the better year of the Saturn.
Yeah, I mean, Sam was saying 2019 was the year of the Saturn, right? But I mean, like, so much has happened.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Every year is the year of the Saturn.
For me, it has been since '96.
Exactly. I think now it's going to be the decade of the Saturn is what we have to start saying.
Seriously. Well, I hope so. Only time will tell. But I mean, if news keeps going this way at this click, where we have like 6 articles to report on every week, then I think that definitely will be. Which brings us to a completely un-Saturn related topic. Shoot.
Yeah, actually, did you want to tackle this entire thing? Because I know we wrote up a couple articles on it. So did you want to just go with it in the big bangs that we just have it? Cool, that works.
All right, let's just start with the inception.
Gotcha. You want to take this one?
Sure. Yeah. So let's see. When did you? This was April 5th that this footage appeared on YouTube. This guy had a Sega, what appeared to be a Dreamcast GD-ROM, one of the burnables. And what kind of drive? You need like a GD-ROM drive, right, to burn one of those?
Just a regular. Oh, it's like a GD burner, but
yeah,
it had
GD burner.
It had the system disk too, and which is used for a lot of the beta builds and stuff to be able to launch some of these builds, because of course the Dreamcast was copy protected. So I'm surprised they just didn't let you just shove a GD-ROM in there, because it's like there's no way to get one like manufactured like
I could try to play this video. I don't think the sound is coming through.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay because it's loud and it's grindy. His drive is grindy. But I mean, basically,
needs to get a GDEMU for that thing.
Yeah, he shows. That's how my drive sounded like before I put the mode in there. But here you can see, he's holding up the controller, maybe I guess to prove that it is, the input correlates and that it's legit. That he's controlling this demo of Castlevania. And I believe you did say, Pat, that it is a rough demo, right? I mean, there's a bunch of stuff missing. It's not like it's a complete game or anything.
He's walking on the lava, not getting hits.
Right. Collision stuff.
He's running around. Yeah, the enemy's just like throwing crap at him constantly. So,
but still, the fact that it is an alpha build of a Castlevania game at all, that's huge news. I mean, considering the fact that it's like we're not really getting a whole lot of Castlevania love, new Castlevania stuff. So it's like when something like this comes up, tons of, everybody's raising an eyebrow. And so that was basically the beginning, right? And basically he was
it's
just
like a 3-part saga right now.
3-part saga. Okay, so let's jump ahead in time. We'll jump ahead
saga
to
number 2.
Yeah. Okay, so you take this part.
All right, so after a little bit, we were wondering, what is he going to do with it? What's going on with it? And I think a lot of people were, thinking, he's probably getting it together to sort of dump it and announce it. But I think my mind went more in the sheepish direction, where it's like, he's just hyping up for an auction, which of course. Is sadly what happened. He threw it on eBay and basically said, hey, here's this thing for sale. I don't know much about it. I don't know its value other than ripping it. Like, he specified, I don't know its value other than ripping the game. So he knew, like, people wanted it ripped, and he was hoping, big buyers are gonna pay for it to rip it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, a lot of those people that have that money are collectors that want to hold on to it, which, as you can see by the images there, that's exactly what happened. It jumped up the price to, it started like $1, then it was like 1,000, then it was like 5,000, and it ended all the way up to $20K.
Yeah, over $20K. Now
it's crazy.
Sorry. So I looked at the seller account. He's from California, right? And
California dreaming, man.
California dreaming. Taxes, it's minimum. It's like 7%. It's more like 8%, right? And eBay and California, state of California, pretty much strictly reinforced the whole, income or retail tax, on eBay. Like, even when I buy something, I have to pay tax, even though it's like been used like several times, and that's just part and parcel to living in the state. So tax on like 21.
Arizona's the same way. You have to pay taxes on. I have to pay tax on eBay, things I buy on like Yahoo auctions. So anyway,
this is my own speculation, but tax on 21K is over like $1,600. Maybe more. I was doing it on 20, so that would be more like $1,800, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he just decided he didn't want to pay that kind of tax to the state of California, and instead he would just like to move it under the table, I guess, is what I'm thinking, because then it disappeared. And we had some folks reaching out to us saying that he sold it to a private collector or something like that. What did you hear?
Yeah, somebody say it sold like for $50K. Another person said he took it down because of legal reasons.
Okay.
So there's a lot of here and there. There's nothing definitive, so I don't want to report and say what is what. But more than likely, I guess in our guesstimation, it's either he took it off and sold it to a private seller, or he already sold it for $50K, because that's what apparently in the proto circle is what it sold for. But
yeah, so tax on $50K is $4,000.
Yeah.
So if he had sold it on eBay, he'd have been paying $4,000 in taxes. So that's my inkling, is that he probably realized that this is going to go for a lot, and I don't want to have to pay tax on that, being in California.
You also have to keep in mind that eBay charges like a 3% fee as well.
Right. Yes, they do. That's true. And somebody reached out to us in the Discord or in one of the messages saying that they'd been pestering him, just kind of messaging him over and over again to see. And he said that he cited like legal reasons, sorry if I'm repeating what you already said. But
yeah, no worries.
But legal reasons could be any number of things. I don't think it's like anybody's like suing him for selling a GD-ROM on eBay, but I think that sounds like a tax evasion kind of thing.
Yeah. He realized, oh man, I have to pay so many fees to eBay, and probably somebody reached out either buying it, or maybe he just thought, I'll sell it. But I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he'd had put it like somewhere on Heritage Auctions or something. Or I think my fear, I was joking in the chat with somebody, and I was saying, imagine it's gonna suck if he puts it behind like he gets it water graded and just puts it behind an acrylic case.
Oh my god. I mean,
it's like, oh man.
I don't think he's an idiot. I do think he probably already backed up an image to his computer.
And he said in the auction that he was going to release it at some point.
Right.
But there's no indication or promises. That's all he's saying. And
yeah, so I mean that's the worry.
Take his word for it.
I guess in this community, like, that's the worry, is like, we had this thing, and it was like you had a glimpse of hope for a moment, and now it's gone. We'll see what happens,
I just really wish he would have at least like captured it in better quality, like with a capture card, and just like showed it off. Because even if like we don't get the gameplay, it'd be cool to have the footage of it.
Absolutely.
Least for memory's sake. So, okay, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Instead of a 500 feet away video of it.
Yes. If he could just capture that footage in HD, so that we can at least preserve it, like you said, on several of the sites, and have at least that footage be redundant data that people can access, and they can write retrospectives and stuff like that, and have better reference footage than his photo his phone with the controller in front of it.
Yeah, kind of weirdly set up. I think Nick is in here, so if I don't know if he looks like he's muted, but here he is.
Guys?
What's up?
Okay, did you want to speak a little bit on it too?
Yeah, he wrote this article, this follow-up article.
You guys have pretty much said it all. I'm just upset. That's really all I am. I understand this guy probably got harassed to hell and back by the various hundreds of people on the internet. And, it's okay to be upset that this guy didn't post the dump. That's fine. But, I'm sure he got, harassed and accosted on Messenger and on his eBay DMs or however they contacted this guy. And that's not okay.
Right.
That kind of behavior ensures that a lot of this stuff will stay in the dark. So, but I don't know. It's a whole big thing. I wish he would have dumped it. I hope he does. He says he will. He said in that one eBay post update that he plans on doing it, and he's not going to part ways with the disc without dumping it. But this is one of those you can't believe it till you see it kind of things, and that's just how it is. So I've had conversations recently with folks who have different philosophies about this whole thing, and they kind of feel like well within their right to just hoard it and hold on to it. And they're like, I don't know anything kind of sentiment. It's like, the data is my property. The physical disc is my property, and I'm just going to open a museum someday, or I'm just going to, or whatever. They don't open museums. They never do.
Everybody wants to open a museum. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody, that's such a cliche.
I'm still waiting for the John Hancock Museum.
Yeah, I think we kind of all are, but I mean, I'm pissed too, Nick, to be honest with you. I'm really pissed, but again, I don't want to be trash talking too much, especially on what is essentially a live newscast. So I admit I'm tempering myself a bit, and I'm just kind of bummed is all, but hopefully we'll see it in some form creep up again, and hopefully it'll be better than what we got, as far as a glimpse of what it was, because obviously there's a hell of a lot more there than what he showed, I'm sure. And
exactly. He could have at least given us more video.
Yeah.
That much would have been nice, but no, this is clearly just proof that it works so you could sell it later, in my opinion. That's what this was.
I'm definitely anybody off the top of their heads, when did Castlevania for N64 come out? When did that release?
That had to have been late 90s, early thousands at the latest.
Right. Yeah. So the first thing I thought about this game was, it's a 3D Castlevania game, and that reminded me of the N64 game. And it just
I thought the same thing, and it's probably going to be just as bad.
It could have been. It could be. Yeah, it's it might be a good thing that it didn't come out, and maybe that's part of the reason. Maybe they looked at. Who knows? Maybe they looked at the poor reception of the N64 version and thought, okay, we got to cut this off now.
It's no, we're not putting that crap.
It could have been. It could have been that they might even have used the same assets that were downscaled for the N64 version. They could have been working on this simultaneously because it is another 3D Castlevania. Because the N64 released so late and the Dreamcast released so early, they almost shared the same shelf space, at a certain point in time on the market. And I think that some games were kind of developed almost in tandem for the two different machines. And Tony Hawk 2 or the Tony Hawk would be quite a bit downscaled for N64, versus great example was Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, right? A game that was definitely produced at the same time for both consoles, but one would be almost like an up-resed version. So that's what got me thinking.
I feel one's good and the other is complete garbage.
Yeah? I don't know. I kind of like them both in their own way, but
both
I guess
are good. But the Dreamcast one's the clear winner.
It is the clear winner. Well, some people would say the PC Master Race would be the better one. No, I like the Dreamcast version a lot.
The Dreamcast one is good. I played the N64 and it was hot garbage. It lagged so badly.
But it
looked like a blurry mess.
But with the RAM expansion, it is kind of a showcase for what can be done on that system. And then when you get the two N64 controllers to do the engines and stuff like that, I think it's cool.
Let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with let's just
I'm not gonna make Star Wars fans any more mad than they already are with the series.
So while we're still on this depressing news, let's just jump ahead to some better news. and then we'll go back to Clockwork Knight. So what happened last night? Kay Kona, A Murder of Crows, sent me this link. He kind of just slid me this link, and then I like shared it with you guys, and I actually didn't even bother reading it. Like it was late at night, and I didn't really bother reading it entirely until
Don't worry, I didn't either.
Yeah. So go ahead, bring us up to speed. What is going on, Pat?
So basically, the admin over at the Obscure Gamers forums, I think it's WD or something, at least that's what his name was, announced they're working out a deal with a prototype collector or some sort of collector. I don't know who exactly it was, but he had about 87 different prototype or demo build discs.
Right.
And all these were like there's like one Xbox and like two PS1 builds in there as well, but most of them are Saturn build. Actually.
Yeah, look, Shining Force 3, Orta for Xbox. These are all like known games. There's no like crazy, world-shattering news here as far as like an unknown game, but these are all like.
Yeah, they're all basically it looks like progress support builds, so
gotcha.
It looks like something they would send to Sega HQ or something. Like, oh, here's our status so far. Here's the build at this various percents. As you can see, it has the various percentages on them.
Oh, there's Chelnov. Chelnov is one of the unreleased games for Saturn, right?
Oh, Chelnov is?
Yeah, Chelnov is on here. Original dump came from this CD. Okay, so the dump that we know of, the dump that's circulated for a while, according to this, came from this.
Okay, that's cool.
Oh no, Pat's all glitchy.
Yeah, I guess technically we do have an unreleased game in that regards.
Yeah, and then Werewolf, it's also an original dump, according to this.
I'm still waiting for that Eternal Champions build to come out someday.
Oh, no kidding.
It's out there.
No kidding.
I don't think that's a part of this package. I don't think they're going to get that with this
bundle,
but
it was worked on.
I'm out.
We have plenty of evidence that it was worked on, and oh my god, so many magazine articles about it. Like, I'm a big magazine collector, and I can honestly say there are so many magazine articles covering Eternal Champions.
Yeah, and it's really cool because it's just all these interesting builds in the progress reports. I know another one somebody's looking for also is the Evolution build for Saturn, which I even didn't know they did that.
I heard about it. I've never seen like any footage or any like screenshots, but I think I saw you talking to somebody about that.
That's pretty cool, though. I'd be excited to try that out if that ever comes to light. But I guess moving on, basically all it is like progress support builds. But it's still cool to get like the early builds. We could find something that may have been missed or something that was cut. So it's cool to have that for a preservation standpoint. And when I originally read it, I thought they said they bought it and they're just getting their money back.
Right.
But apparently I read it wrong. Is that they're actually funding it. So right now you can go to their Ko-fi page, which is like a group, like a GoFundMe page, and you can donate to basically give them money to buy it. It's about £45, and as of like an hour ago, I think they are at 55% complete.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So they're 55% of the way there. They only need a little bit more to get them over the edge, but
they have a deadline, right?
Buy it.
They have a deadline?
Yeah, they have the deadline of 6 weeks. I imagine if they're showing, if it's 6 weeks and they're only 55%, I can imagine they're probably gonna get to the goal pretty soon.
Cool. Does anything on this list like stand out to you personally?
I like the Shining Force builds. The Virtua Fighter stuff's interesting. I like to check out, and of course the Orta build looks kind of cool. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it. Looks like they've got Enemy 0, Disc 0, which would have been like the training disc, and who knows, that might have been used at like an E3 or something like that as a demo, or just like a There's some cool stuff on here for sure. There's a Darius guide in there for Nick. He's a huge yep. What else? So Panzer Dragoon 2. There's Guardian Heroes 100%. So there's like Panzer Dragoon 2 100% and Guardian Heroes 100%. So I guess those were like pre-release prototypes.
They might be like the silvers.
Yeah. There's
they often gave out completed games to the reviewers like a month or so early.
But
so
those would have been the pressed silvers, right? I didn't know if that's what these are, because these just
it might be.
I'm not 100% sure.
Some of them are. It looks like a miscellaneous bunch of them. So
yeah,
I'm just guessing it's some collector that had a giant thing of it. He maybe got from somebody or just collected over the years.
There's a review copy of Virtual Hydlide that Nick could use to do another review.
Oh hell yeah, that's what I need more of.
What I'm wondering though is I wonder if these are PAL copy builds or PAL, because this was being sold in the UK,
right?
So it makes me wonder if this is all PAL stuff or if it's all NTSC, which I'm interested in. Maybe it might be like PAL test stuff.
Yeah, could be. I'm looking to see if there's any games here that I noticed that didn't come out in PAL territory. That would be the thing. I mean, Worldwide Soccer 98, didn't that have a different name in PAL territories though? I thought it did.
I'm actually not sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look into that. There's some stuff here that Lunacy. They list Lunacy instead of calling it Toriko. So I don't know. Maybe if it is Lunacy, then it's definitely going to be the US version, not the PAL version, which is called Toriko. But yeah, there's definitely some interesting stuff here.
Yeah, it might have been also they just named it Lunacy, but it might have been just a build for the UK guys to test out, or the Sega Europe guys. But we'll see. It also might, like I said, it might just be American copies that this guy bought from the UK.
Okay. Do you know what Game Breaker is? Just like a code breaker thing? No?
Oh, it could be. Yeah, that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is
so
cool
that's
stuff,
good
and
news.
I really hope they buy that. And yeah, if you guys want to donate, check out their Ko-fi. They said that if they don't meet the goal, they'll refund everybody. So I mean, worst case, you just get your money back. Best case, you help fund a bunch of games. So if you have some extra cash, and then yeah, go for it.
Yeah, if everybody gives $10. And I assume there's enough folks out there that would love these to come to light. If it's a load of people each gave $10, I'm sure they'd get there, Or if you can afford to give a little more, that'd be great. But I'm sure every little bit, means something to them.
Real.
And you put a link there, right? You put a link to the Ko-fi?
Yeah, the Ko-fi page is in the article on the bottom. But
cool.
I'll post in the video as well for people that are watching this. That's the one. Check it out.
Awesome. And then last but not least, we're circling back around to Peter's Best of Saturn. He has, every Wednesday he comes out with a new little blurb about a different game. And this time he was taking a look at Clockwork Knight, the original.
Yeah. So
what are your thoughts on this game?
So when I first saw it, I thought it looked like garbage. It looked like it played like garbage, and I thought it suffered from the dreaded 3D cheese look. But giving it some more love, I realized, oh wait, this is like a Donkey Kong Country experience, and it's very creative. It's very eccentric, very Japanese in some ways.
Yeah,
it's very bizarre in nature, but I think it's a pretty fun game. I really enjoy it, the designs, all the ideas, because I love Toy Commander. It always gave me that vibe.
Yeah. So
it kind of gave me that Toy Commander vibe in a way. But it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I definitely really want to go and end up beating that one in the second one, and maybe even play the puzzle game too.
Yeah. I absolutely love this game. Both of them. Which are really one game that just kind of got split up because of development deadlines. But and there is no save functionality in it, which is one of the things I wish that it had, saves or password or something like that. But it doesn't. You really just need to sit down and beat it. But it's not a long game, so it just can be a harder game at harder difficulty levels. But I really do love how they were able to incorporate 3D and 2D so well in this game. And then, you got like you said, it is very overtly Japanese. It has a very Japanese aesthetic to it. The color palette, the music, the, just the weird kind of style to it, I guess, the quirkiness. But it's charming. And I've told quite a few people, will know that I defend this game quite staunchly. It's a lot of fun. and it's just I think it's one of the better games from Saturn's launch lineup. Even though subsequently it's kind of a panned game, like I would say like half the people out there don't think too highly of it. And then you know,
and it's a bummer because it's actually pretty fun. I think if they gave it a shot, like me, they would probably end up enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think this game has way too much undue hate. I don't understand why so many people don't like it. Like, every game's gonna have its haters. Like, every good game is gonna have people who say, "No, I think it's trash. I hate it."
Right.
This is one where it's like I could understand a few haters, but there are like a lot of people who do not like Clockwork Knight.
I know, isn't that crazy?
I don't really understand why. Like, it's not outstanding. It's not an amazing game, and the graphical look of that like pre-rendered Donkey Kong Country style sprite work is, you know, not as well done as, you know, as how it was in Donkey Kong, and the color might be, you know, seem off-putting to some people, but like I don't know, the color matches the theme where it's like a bunch of toys running around a child's room, and the platforming super fun, and the controls are really tight. So
yeah,
my only complaint is that it's way too short. It's like
that is the number one. That seems to be the number one complaint from people. Like, I've listened to a lot of different podcasts, even ones that are like not Saturn centric. They're just rating games, and whenever they talk about Clockwork Knight, it's like most of them seem to enjoy themselves, even people that didn't think they would. But they're just like, it was over before it started. You know, it's just like so short. And then I have heard people say the thing about the garbage graphics, like Pat said. You know, I have heard people say that somehow just from a first impression the graphics are a little off-putting, and maybe that has something to do with the mix of 2D and 3D, maybe because at least with like Donkey Kong Country, it's all pre-rendered, you know, the backgrounds, the foregrounds, it's all pre-rendered, and so it looks visually cohesive, whereas this almost does have that kind of weird layered effect where you got the 2D and the 3D and they're not quite, but it's a product of its time, and I think that the best things I hear about it are like what you said: tight controls. It's fun to throw objects, you know, because it feels really good. You always get a really good sense of feedback from, you know, when you attack enemies, and then just the music and the overall charm of the game. And then if you consider both games one game, which I kind of do. And they did actually release it as Fukubukuro in Japan. Like, they released the party pack or whatever of both games so that you could experience it in one sitting, which I think is kind of the way that folks should do it, especially because if you're going to buy this game, it's like super expensive if you buy the US version. So if you grab the Japanese version...
Has it gone up?
It's always been kind of crazy. Like, it's not worth what it costs on eBay for sure. Like, and number two is close to $100, you know, because I don't think it was as plentiful. I don't think they did as big of a run of the second game as they did with the first, probably because of some of the negative reviews. What were you gonna say, Pat?
Oh, I was just going to say, I also want to let people know, check out clockworkknight.com, and
yes,
I would go there because they're big fans of it, and one of the people actually helped to dump the unreleased the Clockwork Knight puzzle, right?
Yep. Peter O'Hanlon, who runs the site, and he also runs the Twitter. He bought the game at his own, you know, at his own expense, just so he could dump it for the community. And I mean, I'm sure he also bought it so he could have it in his collection because he's like a super fan. But I mean, like, that was
a little bit of a fan.
But that was priority number one. Like, the first thing he did was dump it for the community, no hesitation, you know. And that's like, you know, that's the way to be, if you ask me. So, you know, I was like super stoked to be able to send him one of my Clockwork Knight puzzles that I did when I got it done, just because, like, as far as I'm concerned, like, that's not even enough thanks that I can give to him and anybody else who just like happens to buy a game and spend their own money just so they can release it for the community, because that is you know, that's altruism there, and that's also a game preservation, you know. It's what we have to do.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I like about people that do that, is just dump it and put it online, because it's like these games aren't, going to be there forever. You need to have something to back it up and, enjoy it. Because I mean, even if it is like, I mean, that Mario game, what is it, sold for about 600 grand, the sealed Super Mario Brothers, like in the case. I mean, if stuff like that's going to sell, I mean, stuff like Castlevania is still going to sell because it's a unique item, or stuff like Clockwork Knight Puzzle. So I mean,
absolutely, a lot of
where the value is going to go down, and I guess to a point. But I mean, once it gets that high, it's all collectors that want it. I mean, it's not like somebody paid 50 grand to get it dumped. That's just crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, if you guys have not played Clockwork Knight or Clockwork Knight 2, I highly recommend that you try it. I mean, we're living in the days of the ODE and and the pseudo carts, so it's very easy. You have no excuse. Just go ahead and grab a copy of the Japanese version that has both games on one disc. It's got a bunch of extra content for you too, and it doesn't matter if you can't speak Japanese. The game is completely accessible and playable, and I think that's probably the way to go.
For real. All right.
For real.
Do we want to do like a community question thing and like Q&A before we leave, or did we want to?
Sure. Why don't we just unmute everybody? Unmute everybody, and I'll go ahead and make that disappear, and we can just see what other people think about the dumps in the community. Collecting versus preserving. Yeah. And then some Clockwork Knight. I want to know if people are fans of the game or not. And is anybody planning on getting a 21-pin Fenrir?
Fenrir, yeah.
We've got a lot of people in the SHIRO server
Discord,
and in the Discord that are huge supporters of the Fenrir, huge proponents of it, and it's a quality device. Who's planning on getting one now that they've got one for 21-pin Saturns? Got anybody? Do we have anybody in the chat?
Anybody in the voice chat? No.
I like the satiator better, guys.
You like the satiator better?
Correct.
I don't have a Fenrir, so
it's what I have. It's the satiator is what I've got, so that's what I'm gonna keep using.
The Fenrir is pretty nice, but I don't like taking apart my Saturn for stuff like that.
Oh, I hear ya.
Fair enough. I think Ben's had something you want to say.
Yeah, I'm a mode guy myself, so I'm pretty happy with the mode.
Mm-hmm. So you got two modes, Ben?
No, just one.
In your Saturn?
It's in my Saturn right now, yeah.
Oh, so you got like a GDMU for your Dreamcast?
No. The Dreamcast right now has HDMI, Dreamcast HDMI in it, but I'll switch my mode over to it whenever I want to use the Dreamcast with the mode. It's really easy to do, and it actually uses the same hard drive because it'll access the Dreamcast specific games.
Oh, I gotcha.
It's not like a pain to take out at all, or do you just leave all the covers covered?
No, it's not really a pain at all. The only thing that gets a little tricky is if you use like the stock installation uses the little tacks with the cleat strips or the tack strips. And if you do it that way, then you got to undo the strips. But you don't actually have to use the adhesive to hold it down, or you can get one of those 3D printed things to lay it down with screws. And if you do that, then that's even better. You just unscrew it and you're done.
Yeah, I have mine with the little pegs, but I didn't undo the stickiness on the other side, so it's just sitting in the case. But right now my Dreamcast, it actually, I just have it unscrewed, so if I need to take the mode out, I just like plop the thing out, take the hard drive out, just for ease of access, and it's not going anywhere, it's just vibing there.
I
so
got
I'm
you.
not worried about it falling off and the thing falling all out of the system or anything, so it's not too bad. But yeah, I really enjoyed my mode in the Dreamcast. I have the satiator and the Rhea, so I'm good on the Fenrir for the most part. But I would like to get it just to test it. So we'll definitely see for sure, and I'm excited to check. And actually, I went to a Dreamcast, Ben. I have to hit you up on those games. I completely forgot. But we'll get that sorted.
For me, that would be too much of a pain for me. Like whenever I think about like Derek was going to send us a test build of Soccer Wars at some point, you know, so we could test that out. And just the thought of having to like undo my Dreamcast and everything and get it in there, I need a more workable solution when it comes to that, like an extender or something like that. But yeah, for me, even with the Dreamcast's 4 screws, it's just I would want to set it and forget it solution, you know. But that's just me. Yeah. I was even saying, like, it would be cool if you could 3D print some, like, it'd be cool if you could 3D print some, like, little tabs or something like that for your Dreamcast shell, so that you could just, like, push them and, like, unlock the top, so it, like, clip on instead of screw on. I don't know.
Yeah, but no, I really don't have a problem with just taking it off, and I actually need to get because the thing is I have an SSD for it, so I need to get like an external SSD like Docker. Because right now what I've been doing is I've been taking the side case of my computer off, replacing the hard drive with that, plugging it in, then unplugging it. So I need to get like a USB docking station where I just shove it in there, right, and just load it all the games up and take it out and put it back in the Dreamcast once I'm done.
I got one. I got a Sabrent. It's like a mini SATA, you know, USB 3.0 cord. It's just like a USB cable with the connector on the end for the SSD, and that was on Amazon for like $10 or something like that, and that works really well. The only thing I'm wondering is some folks are like plugging that into the hard drive and then actually using the USB into the USB port of the mode. And I don't know if that would actually be slower than plugging the actual SATA drive into the SATA connector.
Yeah, you'll have to send me a link to that because I need to pick one up myself.
I will.
Like that'd be pretty useful.
Yeah, I will. I'll show you. It's small. It came in like a day or two, and it's like super simple. I can even show it to folks who are wondering.
It's small like me. I'm very, very small. But yeah, while he's fighting his equipment, actually, yeah, just destroying his setup, just completely demolishing it.
Yeah, so
and getting this cable. There we go.
There is the cable if folks can see it. So it just looks like that. It's from Sabrent, and on the other end, it's just that. So you just like clip it on there. It gives you the power and the data, and it just transferring files onto the SSD is so fast. I can't believe it. Like, I'm so spoiled by that versus like copying games onto an SD card for the satiator. That was, you know, even though I have like a really fast card, it's just not even a comparison to like a SSD.
Yeah, and it's really cool. I think I need something like that, and I just love the SSD. It's just so easy to, like, even when I'm doing it like with my SATA, it's like, oh, it's done already. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So some people were taking this solution right here, plugging the USB port onto the mode board underneath the lid, and then kind of just having this like sit there in a circle or something with the drive connected, with the SSD connected, so that it's just sitting on the top area there, you know, and then they can like take the drive. If you get 2 of these, you just keep this connected in the Dreamcast, and then you have another cheap one that you can just plug into your computer. You can swap files that way. But the thing is, I don't know if the USB limits the bus speed on the mode. Like, is it slower?
Yeah,
I think it would be.
Yeah, personally, I would just plug it directly into I would just get an SSD expander if you just want to do that.
Okay. Well, you need to send me a link to that, because I've heard people talk about those like risers or SSD extenders, but I'm not exactly sure what this is looking like.
It's basically an extension cord, but yeah, personally, I just like plugging it directly in. It looks like neat and flush. So I just like doing that. So I don't mind taking the case off and pulling it out. It's not, and I don't do it that often. I only do it for like builds here and there when when the Atomic Wave games got added.
Oh yeah, same, exactly. That's the last time I opened it up was with the Atomic Wave games. And
yeah,
those went on like super fast. Like, everything gets written onto the SSD super fast.
Small too. Yeah, so it's like it's not that big. But yeah, I was actually playing some when I was trying out the Score Wars thing. I was trying out the Dolphin Blue, and I played that on my arcade machine. But for some reason, it felt a lot more responsive on the actual Dreamcast. So I'm gonna expedite getting my Dreamcast into my arcade machine sooner than later.
Cool.
But
Excelente.
Yeah.
Well, do you want us to get on over to the game stream?
Yeah, it's about time. Thank you guys for watching, for everyone on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.